Hello, you guys. Welcome back to another episode of the Quierete Mucho podcast. I am your host, Stacy G.
Y yo soy Elisa Diaz.
Yes, and today we have our first guest, Jen.
Hello.
Hi, Jen.
Hi, guys.
Oh my God. First of all, let me just tell you how honored we are that you're here. We're so grateful. I feel like there could not have been a better first guest for us.
Oh, yeah. I'm your first guest with both of you guys.
Ever.
God.
Yes. We love having you here.
How exciting.
I know. We love having you here, and we love that you want to be here. So tell me how you're feeling, because
I'm so nervous. Like, I come out in your vlogs like, hey, guys, and then I'm out of the camera.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
But to be here and talking, I'm nervous. I'm like, I don't know what to do with my hands, but it's okay. I'll loosen up as we go.
Yes, you will. So I feel like most people don't know, but a lot of times I feel like content creators bring other content creators into their content, but I would say you're not a content creator, right?
No, not at all.
You live a normal life. I mean, we all live normal lives, but you are, can we talk a little bit about like what you do for work? What's your everyday life look like?
So I'm a teacher. I'm a special education teacher. I work with little kids.
Yeah.
This is my 10th year working in education.
Wow.
So it's been a while.
Yeah. And I've always told you, I'm like, you are the type of teacher that I hope my kids get, because you are a teacher that I can tell cares.
Yeah, I love my job.
You love your job, girl. Like, you love your job. And I feel like you're not one of those teachers that's just there to like make a living. Like, you really make a difference in those kids' lives.
Yeah.
And they love you.
Oh my God. I love them. They love me.
Aww.
They make me happy.
Yes.
I mean, they also give me white hairs, but I love them. I love them so much.
No es la edad, son los niños. Yeah, so you are a special education teacher, an amazing one at that, and you are also recently married.
Yes.
So tell us a little bit about your relationship. Tell us a little bit about your hubby.
So I've been married for, was it 9 months?
It'll be 10 months.
10 months. Oh my God.
Wow.
Yeah, almost 10 months. We recently bought a house. We've been doing, all the things, trying to start a family. I also have a chocolate lab.
Yay,
Canela.
Yes.
I love her. She's my baby.
Yes. She's so cute.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you and your husband have been married for 10 months. How long were you guys together before that?
So I don't even know, but we've been together for 3 years already.
That's crazy. So you and I met, you came into our lives, and you were just telling me 2017.
Yeah, 2017.
Yeah.
That's when I met you at the gym.
Yes. So let's tell them a little bit about how we met.
Can I tell the story?
Yes, you tell us the story,
so
girl.
I've been on my fitness journey for a very long time, right? And so I was at the gym, and I saw you from a distance. You had your headphones on. You had your shorts, your tank. I think you were walking on the incline, like a high incline, but really slow.
Period. Queen.
And I was struggling. And I look over and I'm like, mira, esa está toda mamá that she's barely walking. And then, so I remember I went home and I texted my best friend and I was like, man, I saw this girl at the gym. Like, I wish I looked like her. Like, and we're both tall.
Yeah, we're both tall.
I'm 5'11". So I just remember seeing you and like, that's what I wish I would look like when I lost weight. So my best friend was like, okay, whatever, we'll move on. She went to the gym with me the next day and I was like, hey, there's that girl I was telling you about. And she's like, Stacy? And I'm like, wait, what?
You know her?
So my best friend knew who you were.
Yeah.
And then that's when I was like, oh, well, tell her hi, or so I think you were in the locker room and my best friend passed by. She said hi to you.
Yeah.
And then I was like, hi, I'm Jen. We ended up talking for like 2 hours in the locker room.
Yes, it was meant to be.
Yeah, like 2 hours. And you were telling me about the competition you were doing and stuff like that. I told you about my whole life.
Yeah.
But that's what you do. I'm not the first one to say that. If I sit in a room with you, I just start divulging my whole life story to you.
Yes, but I feel like something so we went backstory. We went to the same same high school.
Yeah.
So Jen and I went to the same high school, but we didn't know each other, which is why her best friend knew me already.
Yeah, she's younger than me.
Yeah, her best friend's 1 year younger than you, and her best friend and I played volleyball together.
Yeah.
And that's how her best friend knew me, but I never knew you because you didn't play volleyball.
No, I played basketball.
Yeah, you
and
played
track.
basketball.
Yeah.
And in high school, we never really crossed paths.
Well, I remember seeing you.
In
I
high
remember,
school?
yeah, I remember of you, porque estabas alta y flaquita. So when my best friend told me who you were, I'm like, that's her. I mean, because that when you were in high school, you didn't have too much muscle.
No.
And then when I met you,
Estaba mamada.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I was like,
Good
oh,
days.
wow. Like,
Yeah.
that's awesome, you know? So-
Yeah, and I'll never forget the first thing Jen said when she came up to me, because her best friend said hi, and I was like, oh, hi, because I was never really close to her best friend, but I knew of her
Yeah.
because she's like super amazing at volleyball. And the first thing Jen said to me was, I'm going to send my surgeon a picture of you because this is what I want to look like when I lose weight. And I started cracking up, and I was like, oh my God, this girl's so funny. And I just thought it was so amazing how, and I always have admired this about you, Jen. Like anyone you meet, you become their friend.
Yeah.
You're so easy to talk to. Like I know you say that about me, but you are genuinely not shy to go up to someone and be like, hey,
No, I'm not.
you're not shy at all. And like I love that about you. Even the other day we were at Porto's and I was like, oh my God, I love those like that girl's jeans. They look so good on her. And Jen was like, you want me to go up to her?
Oh, yeah. I went to go ask her. I'm like, hey, where'd you get your jeans from?
Yeah,
They're really
literally.
cute.
Yeah. And then she was there talking to her and I was like, oh, you know, la Jen, like she's just, and that's how our relationship started. And you have blended so easily. You have a relationship with my sister. You have a relationship with my mom. Like you just are so easy to talk to. And you know how you said like you've divulged your whole life to me.
Yeah.
I feel the same way about you. Like whenever I have like a question about life or I'm like, I don't know if I did this right, I'm like, I feel like Jen's a good moral compass. Like I'll be like, was I mean? Or like, what do you think? And you'll be so honest with me.
Yeah.
You know?
I feel like I've always described myself as being Switzerland. Like I'm neutral in a sense, you know, like I'm neutral to both parties.
Always.
I like to see things as a whole, you know?
Yeah. So, I mean, I love having you in our life and I don't know. I just feel good vibes from you all the time.
Yeah.
And I feel like my viewers feel that as well. Cause anytime you come on, they're like, oh my God, Jen.
No, la Jen.
La
Hola,
Jen. Yeah.
No, and I do. Like, I see the comments and they're like, oh, Jen this, Jen that. And
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, sending them hearts.
Yeah. Yeah. And so you recently actually started posting a little bit more consistently on TikTok.
Oh my God, girl. Yes.
How's your influencer life?
I think I had talked to you about before I started it, like, oh, what do I do? This, that, editing. And I remember like that first week, I'm like, dude, I'm always thinking, do I film this? Do I not film this? And I'm like, is this what you live like?
Content.
Yes, you know? And so I mean, obviously, if you look at my day one video versus, I think right now I'm on my 48th video, 48th.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So what I'm doing is I'm tracking my weight loss journey.
Yes.
So when I met Stacy, I was at my thinnest. I had lost about 160 pounds.
That's a lot.
Yeah. And then over 2017 to, I'd say 2023, I've gained weight. I've gained like about 60 of those back. So I'm on my like journey to lose that weight again.
Yeah.
So I'm documenting it on TikTok.
Yeah. And people are loving it.
It is keeping me so accountable.
You are on it, girl.
It is keeping me very accountable. And you've seen me. I'm like, wait, I got to take a picture. I got to take a picture of my food.
Yeah. One thing about you though is I've always known this, like your brain is so organized all the time. Like I love that about you. Like I know if I've told Jen, when you want to quit school, like you can be my baby's teacher and my assistant because she will literally organize anything, and anything she comes into, she'll leave it way more organized and better.
Yeah.
And so your content, I feel like shows that, because so you're doing 75 soft, right?
Yeah. It's my version of 75 soft.
Yeah. So basically it's a 75-day workout routine that you're committing to doing what?
So it's just working out 5 days a week and then just eating relatively better. Also doing some like personal development. So it says to read a book, but I watch a lot of podcasts, a lot of YouTube videos that are like personal development. So I count that. And then just documenting it.
Yeah.
You know?
So for 75 days, and you're on day what?
So today is day 48.
And I feel like I can for sure say I would have already dropped out. Like I can't even commit to 20 days.
Well, no, I love it because so you post it, you hashtag 75 soft, and then people that are also doing it pop up. And so I have a couple teachers who are also doing 75 soft.
Oh, that's nice.
And other people that are doing it, and like the champorras, you know, and it's just like me and my 5 girls that comment on each other's videos. And I mean, you're always commenting on my videos. I appreciate it.
Of course.
You and Amy.
Yes.
Siempre me champorras ahí. But it's nice. And then I know I had recorded, but I didn't upload the videos. I think it was my 3rd day. And someone's like, hey, are you still doing your challenge?
They're on you.
Yeah. And I was like, they're coming, girl. I just have to edit. I didn't have time to edit, which takes some time.
Yes, it does.
I mean, I'm getting better, but
it's definitely a full-time job, you know?
Yeah.
I love it, but you already have a full-time job and you're a wife. And on top of that, you're like taking the extra content creation.
Yeah. I usually do it in my bed before I go to bed.
Me too. When SJ's sleeping, I'm over here like editing my TikToks. Yeah, but so one of the motivating factors today for, you know, bringing you on, and I told you at the beginning when my mom and I first started this podcast, you watch our podcast, right? And I feel like one of the main goals with this podcast is to always uplift and make women feel heard, understood, and confident. You know, that's always been my life mission with my social media, and this podcast is no different. So I would consider myself one of your closest friends. Yeah. So I know the struggles that you've been going through in life. And I asked you when my mom and I started the podcast, you watch it. So I told you, I was like, hey, Jen, like I would love to have you as a guest whenever you're comfortable, if you're ever comfortable, and if you ever want to share your story. Yeah. You know, and you told me, you're like, oh, you know, let me think about it. And I said, yeah, sure. Like, no problem. Absolutely no pressure. Yeah. The space is open whenever you're ready. So what made you finally say like, okay, I'm ready?
So one of the things is, I think when you asked me, I wasn't in a space where I was actively working towards something, if that makes any sense, like taking care of myself or doing more things. So I just felt like, no, I don't want to go talk about it. But I left the door open, right? And then I know we had like scheduled it, and I was like, oh wait, let's just push it back a little bit. Yeah. But one of the things is I don't see too many people talk about the issues that I'm going through. Like weight loss, yes, you know, I hear a lot about that. But specifically infertility, it's not talked about too much. And you know, you see the good parts in social media, so you see the parts where, oh my God, we found out we're pregnant. But you don't see the behind the scenes of
the struggle, maybe.
The struggle it took to get there. The potential losses, you know, the heartbreak, like you don't see that. And I know there's some people that do document it, but I mean, I don't know them to know that that's what they're going through, you know? Yeah. So one of the reasons why I was open to coming on here is to just talk about it. Like, people are not alone. Yeah. You are not alone in your struggle for infertility. Yeah. And it's so much more common than what people think. And getting pregnant is really, really hard. Yeah. No offense, but what our mothers told us, no es cierto. Te tocan y te vas a embarazar. Yeah. Like, no, it's a struggle. It's definitely a struggle.
Yeah. So I definitely admire how selfless you are by wanting to share your story to maybe uplift others, because I imagine the reason why maybe women don't talk about it is because you don't have to. Yeah. You don't have to share your pain to teach us anything, you know? And I feel like this is something so tender and so, you know, fragile that, like losing pregnancies and not being able to get pregnant, like, it's heartbreaking, I imagine, you know? And so to make it, like, it's so amazing that you're willing to share it and to, like, let other women know that they're not alone in it. Yeah. So I guess we can get into it, you know? And I'll just ask you, when did you find out, or like take us to the beginning, you know? Like, where's the beginning? How did you find out? Take us back.
Yeah. So at the time, I was, how old was I? I was 33, I was 33, and I was with my now husband. And it was just kind of like, hey, we're both getting older. Like there's marriage, kids, house, like all the things, well, engagement, marriage, you know? So I felt like we had both made a decision like that we would try, right? Like we knew that our end goal was to be together, but like the clock is ticking, as everybody says. So let's just start trying. And I remember like when we first tried, I was just like, oh my God, I'm going to be pregnant.
Yeah.
And then, you know, the time came to do the pregnancy test and it was like, oh, it didn't happen. Okay, next time. And then the second month came and it was like, mind you, I had already started tracking I've been tracking my period forever. So I already knew like during this window, it's a window of opportunity. And then when my period came, I was just like, wait a second. Why is this happening? Like,
why am I getting my
like
period?
to me, how could I do it with a PG-13? Like, like A and B together?
Yeah.
Pregnancy, you know?
Yeah.
And that was also around the time that I had shared with you that it didn't happen. And you had shared with me that first month you guys tried, or one of the months you guys had tried, it didn't happen. And I thought to myself, like, ay, pobrecita Stace, like, se le va a pasar. Because in my mind, I was already pregnant.
Yeah.
Like, I had tried, I was already pregnant.
Yeah.
And then when my third month came, and then you were pregnant, I was so happy for you because it was like I was going through it too. And I was like, okay, next month is for me.
Yeah.
And then the next month and the next month and the next month. And that just feels like, oh my God, like what's going on? So, I mean, by the 5th, 6th month, I was like, get me to a doctor. Like we need to, everybody get tested. Like we need to figure out what's going on.
So I do want to say that you and I kind of started trying around the same time.
Yeah.
Right. And so I feel like my baby might be like a visual representation of how long it's been. Right?
Oh, yeah.
For you, is that how it feels?
Yeah.
So it's a visual representation of how long it's been for you. And even that, to say, for those that are not familiar, you're tracking your period. Basically, that means you can either just try to get pregnant, which is just you just go at it without protection, or you can track your ovulation, which is like you kind of pee on a stick.
Ovulation sticks.
Yeah, like it's kind of like a pregnancy stick, but it lets you know, and it shows 2 lines when you're ovulating, which for those who are not familiar basically means that there's an egg that's ready to be fertilized. And typically when you have sex in that time, there's a pregnancy, right? So that's what you mean by tracking ovulation.
Well, there was a time where I was even doing what is it? The basal, your temperature, right? When you wake up. Girl, that put so much stress on my body. I was waking up at 12 and like reaching for the thermometer and then like looking at the time and being like, oh wow, it's not time to wake up.
Yeah.
Like it was just I had to literally put it in my closet. I was like, okay, we're not going to do that because that's really stressful.
Yeah.
So yeah, I used the ovulation strips and then also just, you know, tracking on my phone. But so around the 6 month mark, that's when I was like, okay, well, I'm gonna figure this out. And so my insurance didn't cover fertility testing. So I was like, me voy a Tijuana.
Yeah.
So I went to TJ at the beginning of the year with my husband, and they did tell me that I have a low AMH level, which is the anti-Mullerian hormone. So basically my egg reserve is low. So it's not that it's non-existent. It's that it's low for my age. I should have more for being 34.
So what does that mean? So take us a little bit, like, let's pretend that we don't know, because, you know, there's might be listeners who are not familiar.
Yeah.
So your egg reserve being low, what does that mean?
So it's just you have less eggs in your reserve. So you might not release as many, or you might basically, you know, there's women that, I got pregnant when I was like 40, 45. Like I already have ovaries that are as if I was almost 40.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
So your ovaries are just at an older age than your body. Got it. And is there a reason why that happens, or did they tell you anything?
Well, you're born with the eggs that you have. Of course, I didn't go check myself when I was like 20 or 25. Because you don't think that.
Yeah.
And then when I was in when I was in a position to go ahead and start trying, it was already low. And there's nothing you can do to get more. There's obviously stuff you can do to help the quality of your eggs and things like that, but you can't ever get more.
Yeah.
That's the hard part.
Yeah. Because you're born with all of them.
Mm-hmm.
So did the doctor at any point tell you like you have eggs for 5 years left, or is there like a way to tell you?
But I'm gonna be going back again, so it's been already a year. So we'll see if how much that number dropped, and then we would get an idea of how much where I'm at, basically.
Right. So take us back to where you go to TJ, you get tests done, right? And they tell you you have an low egg reserve, right? So what, you go back and they give you this test result, like you have a low egg reserve. Where are you then?
Well, they also did my husband's count, and it was low. So it wasn't 0, but it was also low. So put those two things together, and then also my size, right? I'm a bigger girl. The doctor said that our best bet was going to be IVF, right? Already. There was no, they did give you the option to do an IUI, which is different.
Which is what?
It's basically they just take his sperm and like insert it, make sure it gets in there.
All the way up.
Yeah. But the percentage isn't as high of it being successful. So when they tell me that, I'm just kind of like, I think something in me was like, I have to do something now. Like now, like my window is what I thought, like, oh, I have 5 years. No, the window is now. And that puts a lot of stress on your relationship.
Yeah, I bet.
It put a lot of stress on us, on just that time of the month. It's more of like a chore, like it has to be done. And like, it just really changes the dynamic of a relationship. Thankfully I'm in therapy. So that has helped a lot, with me, like kind of stepping back and seeing things for what they are, and knowing that I can't snap my fingers and like something's going to happen.
Yeah.
But, one of the other tests that they had also done on me, was oh my God, what is it called? An HSG. Histopicto something. I can't remember the name of it.
But what does it mean?
But basically they like put up dye, and then to make sure that your fallopian tubes are open.
And clear.
Yeah, and clear. And all my tests have been, my hormone levels are fine. I don't have any comorbidities, right? I don't have diabetes, high blood pressure. I don't have any of that. My ovaries were clear of any cysts. Like, it's just the number is low, and then also my partner's numbers are low.
But you're still ovulating.
Yeah, oh girl, I've never missed a period in my life.
Which means
that's good.
Yeah, but that means that your eggs are coming down, ready to be fertilized. So I'm sure at that point you're like, what's happening?
Yeah,
I'm healthy. There's an egg. There's sperm. What's happening? Right?
Yeah. And so we kind of talked about, at that point, like, okay, well, if we're going to do this, like, I don't want to be at work, right? I've seen what IVF journeys look like, and they're not easy. Just a lot of hormones, I just don't want to be in that headspace. So I said, we'll do it in the summer. And this was last summer. Well, by the grace of God, I don't know how, but we bought a house, right? So we bought the house, and then that became our focus. We kind of, not that we stopped trying, but we stopped focusing on that. And then, one of the things people don't think about it, relax, it'll happen, right? So, I mean, I really was putting all my attention on the house. And so I thought, well, it should happen. I'm not thinking about it.
Yeah.
Pero no. So we really focused on the house. Summer came and went. And then it was like, okay, well, we'll just keep trying. And yeah, we have been. It's been over 1.5 years now that we've been trying. I calculated before coming because I wanted to know the number. I've had 25 periods since I first was like checking to see if there's a pregnancy.
Because that's how regular you are.
I have a period every 25 days.
Literally,
so,
like you're on
good.
the clock.
Yeah.
And so this whole time, these 25 periods, 1.5 years-ish, have you been tracking your ovulation? Like, it's been like that every single time?
No. So there was a point where I had to really step back because it was consuming me. Like, it was consuming me to where it was stressing me out too much. And I was like, my biggest thing was like, if it's God's will, it'll happen.
Yeah.
and that's just kind of where I step back on the ovulating strips. I still look at my calendar, right? Just to see where I'm at. And we try to aim for those dates. But no, I haven't tracked with the ovulation strips probably in about like 7 months.
Yeah.
I had to stop. It was a lot.
Yeah. And so when you step back from that and you and your husband talk about like, okay, where are you guys now? You know, that you have taken a step back from like, okay, we don't want to do the strips anymore. It's too much. Like, it's draining me. It's draining our relationship. Where are you guys now?
So one of the biggest things that I had said with coming into the new year was with the stress. So this is the crazy part is with the stress of the infertility, right? And tracking and it not happening, I gained like 40 pounds. So like I did the opposite, right? Of preparing my body for this. So with the new year, a little bit before the new year, I want to say I started working out in October. So October, November, December, I started working out 3 days a week. Right now I'm at 5 days a week, which is why I did that challenge. But to me, it's like, we're planning on doing IVF this summer coming up. Right. So I just want to be able to say that I'm at the best place that I possibly could be for this experience. You know, I don't want to say like, oh, I didn't lose any weight or I didn't get in shape or I didn't try. Like I want to at least give it a fair shot.
You're giving it your all.
Girl.
Yeah. We see you on TikTok. 75 soft. We see you every day.
Yeah. So that's my focus right now is just I don't want to say losing weight because me and the scale, we have some beef, but I'm definitely losing inches. I'm getting so much stronger.
Yeah. We could see it.
Yeah. So to me, it's like, it's progress, right? It's progress period.
Yeah.
My husband's also trying to lose weight. So we're both just kind of focused on like eating better, trying to work out, and then we'll see what happens when the summer comes.
Amen. Yeah. And so now the plan is completely IVF.
Yeah.
Like,
well, pause. One of the things that I forgot to mention is, so we went to TJ in January. And then by the time we not came back from TJ, but we were done with going and coming all the time. My insurance here was like, okay, you can start doing the fertility testing.
Because it's been over a year.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
So I was like, well, let's do it here too. We did it in the States. And all the results were exactly the same as what they did in TJ. And the fertility doctor's recommendation was IVF.
Here in the US.
Right away. Like he didn't there was even some tests that were inconclusive. Like he wanted us to do it again, but he was already referring us out.
Wow. And so why not do IVF here?
Because it's expensive.
I know. I mean, I know that because we've talked about it, but for our listeners.
Yeah. So I'm just like ballparking numbers. I can't give you like for sure exact numbers, but I know like in the States, you're probably looking at about $25,000. One of my cousins went through IVF, successful IVF, gracias a Dios. And they paid about, I think it was like 23
here in the US.
Well, they were in a different state, but yeah, in the US. And in TJ, it's about like 7,000.
The whole complete journey?
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, it's not including like the gas there, the food, right. All that. But
like the medical.
What I'm giving them is about 7,000.
And so what is the IVF journey look like from like beginning till pregnancy, let's say?
I have no idea. No, just kidding.
I'm like, no way. You do so much research. No.
So I've been looking, right? The testing obviously has to happen like in advance. And then there's like injections that need to be done. And it's at certain times of the month, your period, after your period, all that. So one of the things with me making the TikTok, right? So right now, if you go on there, it's like recipes and me working out. One of the things that I've been kind of sitting with is, do I want to document this journey?
Wow, we would love that.
And
I know they would. I know they're gonna say yes, but it's what you feel okay with.
Follow, like, and subscribe.
Legit.
I'm
a whole influencer.
I always hear you guys. That's why. But you know what? My nieces too. I have twin nieces, and they're like, "Follow my channel," you know, because they watch all the YouTube with the kid stuff.
Yeah.
But no. So I've been really sitting with this, and do I want to document it? And I think I am.
Oh,
so
I would love that.
When I start going to these appointments, I will be documenting it. And we'll see. You know, I'm very hopeful, but it's also like, you know, I felt the letdown, so I'm just gonna post my journey, see what happens. If other people resonate with what I'm saying, like they can chime in. I've already kind of learned that I know that people give you advice from a good place, right? I don't think anybody's giving me advice from a bad place. But it's one of those things where like te dicen, oh, put your legs up, do this, don't eat that, tómate esto. Like I've done so many things. Like me trajeron té de México de quién sabe qué, arroyo de I don't know where, that's like blessed, and you know, it hasn't happened. Like I've tried many things. Yeah. I've tried many of the, and I won't go into detail too much about like what they are, but I've tried many of the different suggestions people have given me.
If you want to, you can go into detail. If not, if it's too embarrassing, you don't have to. But I'm like, I'm like, what did you do?
Maybe los que no son tan vergonzosos.
Sí.
I know. I'm a little shy.
Yeah, it's okay.
But yeah, so I'm keeping an open mind. I know that posting my life on the internet is a little hard for me. Like a lot of my videos that you see, sometimes it's just the music and me going through, and then you'll see some of me talking, right? Like it's me getting comfortable with the idea of just being in the camera and talking. Yeah. But yeah, everybody at work has found me, students, on parents, social media. Yeah, and I'm not posting anything bad, which, you know, I'm not posting anything bad. I'm not posting anything that's like during my work contract hours. I'm a human being who has a life outside of my job.
Of course.
You know, so
when you talk a lot about, or you not a lot, but when you talk about like the things that people have told you, like, oh, súbete aquí, bájate allá, y ponte este calzón, y te quitas aquel, you know, because I can imagine, you know.
Yeah, it's a lot.
When people, I don't know what it is about motherhood or like pregnancy, people love to give their 2 cents. Espérate que te embaraces, girl, because there's going to be more advice. Literally. And so I imagine that you've heard it all, right? Like, tómate mostaza con jugo de piña. You know, like I know for sure. I'm sure you've heard it all. Yeah. So what are some ways that you think us friends, family, we can be supportive of women, of you, number one, and of other women who are going and suffering through infertility? What are ways that we can be there to support you?
Well, I think the biggest thing is, you know, because a lot of people don't know. So the biggest thing is like, oh my God, when are you guys going to have kids? That question, it's like daggers, right? Yeah. And it's like, oh, we've been trying, but it hasn't happened yet. And that's where the kind of like the more negativity comes in. We're like, oh, just get drunk and it'll happen. And it's like, oof.
Yeah. You're like, I'm 3 bottles down.
I'm not going to say names, but I have a cousin. I have a cousin. That's like, oh, just get drunk, it'll happen. Yeah. Right. And it's like, it's not that easy. Like we are trying. Yeah. You know? But anyways, it's just being there for your friend or your cousin or your, you know, whoever it may be, and not constantly ask.
Like every time they see you.
Yeah. Because I have had that happen where it's like, okay, where's the baby? Where's the baby? And it's like, you know, it's insensitive. I guess just don't be insensitive. Yeah. You can ask, but don't be insensitive about it, you know?
I think the whole topic of like asking couples, when are you guys going to have a baby? You know what I mean? Like I've never really asked, because you're right. You don't know what people are going through. You know, like you don't know if they're trying. You don't know if they want to. You don't know if they've had miscarriages. And so when you've had those conversations with people, let's say somebody asks you, when are you going to have a baby? And you're like, we're trying. Like, do they feel like crap when you answer honestly like that? Or
so some people are like, oh, I'm sorry, and other people give their little feedback. One of the things that and I had mentioned this to you before is whenever I see like a pregnancy announcement and I'm not anticipating it, it's like instant tears. I will, oh my God, I'm gonna cry. I will like and it just comes out of nowhere. Like it feels, I'm so happy for the person because that's the type of person I am, but it's like, and so then my mind plays tricks on me where I start to think like, oh, it must have been so easy for them. And that's where the part where I have to learn to not be insensitive, because I had a friend who posted that she was pregnant and I was like, oh my God, like what happened? Like, you're so lucky. And she was just like, Jen, like, I didn't tell you, but I had a miscarriage like before this baby. And I was like, oh my God, here I was thinking that it was so easy. Yeah. And then another girl who posted her pregnancy announcement, and I was just, and I comment like, oh, I'm so happy for you guys. Like, and I always want to ask like, was it hard? Was it easy? Right. And one girl responded and she was like, we actually did IVF. And it's like, right. And these are like two fit, healthy people. And I was just like, oh my God, yo aquí sola en mi mente, like
thinking you're the only one.
Pensando que yo soy la única, which is part of the reason why I'm more open to talking about it, because when those people posted their stuff, I didn't know they had gone through that. I just saw the pregnancy announcement and the happiness. Yeah. But it's like they've been through stuff and people don't talk about it. Yeah. And of course, you know, I felt bad because I thought, oh, must have been so easy. But it's not. There's so many struggles people go through, and you don't know. Like, you really don't know. And even a mom who has kids, like, I don't know her struggles. Yeah. You know?
Yeah. I think you're making a really good point on that. And it's beautiful that you're coming out talking about those stuff, because normally we never think about the suffering and all the things that people go through to make their goals in life. And this is really beautiful, and I'm applaud you, because you're an awesome woman. You have a beautiful heart. Yeah. And I know, and I wish, and I pray right now, and I ask God to give you that miracle baby. Amen. That miracle baby. And God always give us the opportunity to be a mom. And I think you're going to be an awesome mom. Amen. And I applaud you, because most of the time we always show up the happy moment, and it's beautiful. But you coming here telling us and putting your heart outside for everybody to see that you're vulnerable. And it's beautiful to see people that goes through something so hard, and for sure you're not alone. Yeah. You know, you're giving other sample, other people showing up their life, but showing the beautiful moment. Oh, I become a mom. This is my baby. But you're right, because sometimes when we don't have problems getting something, we don't know the struggle that other people go through. Yeah. And I think you and other people that want to share all the difficult times to be able to get something, and this in this case a beautiful baby, I think is awesome. Yeah, I applaud you for what you're doing right now, and I hope you make those videos to make other people think and have compassion. And probably the most of the people who ask you like, oh, and when you're gonna have a baby, probably that's people that they don't know you, or they're not close to you, because you close circle of people, I believe they know what you're going through. And what you expect is like love, compassion, and support. You know, like, I'm here for you, and it's, you know, I just want you to know that I'm here for you. Yeah. And I know what you're going through. Yeah. So I applaud you. And for sure, I pray to God right now to give you that miracle baby.
Yes, we can pray for her when we're done.
Yeah, we will pray for you. Yeah, because it's in me. I pray for
your
Stacy.
Mom and I have had so many conversations.
I love Jennifer. I love Jennifer. Yeah.
One at a time, señoritas. But okay, so yes, I will say, ya le vi las ganas that she wants to pray for you. So we will, because we had to continue the podcast. But I will tell you that something admire about you. Yes, my mom is so right. Your vulnerability, but also, Jen, I don't know that you know how empathetic you are to think of other people like who already have their babies, and you're like, oh, like I was being mean. I don't think you were being mean for feeling normal human emotions.
Yeah.
And that just shows where your heart is, and I have never had a doubt in my mind that you're going to be an amazing mom. Oh my God. Like the way you are with the twins, your nieces, the way you are with SJ, the way you are with your students, like, oh my God, like I already know it's going to be so amazing when it happens, en el nombre de Jesús.
Amen.
Amen. But yeah, so right now you're at the point where you have a plan and you're basically thinking to yourself, do I want to put this out there? Do I want to share it?
Mm-hmm.
Because it is scary, right?
Yeah.
And so when the time comes, the summer's coming and you're going to go through with it, are you, I guess when it comes to sharing online, what are some of the things that hold you back that you're like, okay, like I wouldn't want to share because of this?
Well, it was mainly the reason why I didn't want to share was because, I have I was going to say 9 to 5, but we work a little less than that. But I have my Monday through Friday job, right? I'm a teacher.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, it was like for someone who's not my close friend to see what I'm posting, like it was a little embarrassing to me.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's been times where you post videos and someone's like, oh my God, I know her.
Yeah.
And I'm like, who?
Yeah.
I get scared. But that's me like wanting to hide, wanting to not, be out there.
Mm-hmm.
But in real life, I'm out there. Like,
yeah, you're very social.
The type of teacher I am, I'm out there with my friends. I'm out there. Like,
yes, you are, girl.
Yeah. And that's kind of where it came from, where I'm just like, okay, I'm not going to post anything. Like, I can't see a parent getting upset. Like, my son's teacher is posting that she can't get pregnant. Like, that's just strange.
And you think, I mean,
no, I don't know. You hear some stories.
Really? But I feel like you said, right? Like you do have a personal life. It's outside of your 9 to 5.
Yeah.
So is there even grounds for a parent to come and say, my kid's teacher is on the internet talking about her IVF journey? Like, does the school have grounds to punish you for something like that?
No, but like, let's say I put a student in my video.
Oh yeah.
Or I'm recording when I'm supposed to be teaching.
Oh yeah.
Which I'm only recording on my breaks and my lunch.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, they can't. No pueden decir nada. Now, like I said, there's some stories of like teachers who have OFs and God knows what.
Yeah.
That's a whole nother can of worms, but that's not what I'm doing. I'm sharing my journey in weight loss. I'm going to be sharing my journey with, I guess it would be my journey of infertility. By the way, something in case you guys didn't know.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're under 35
mm-hmm.
and you've been trying for a year,
okay,
then it would be considered infertility. So let's say you've been trying for 9 months, it's not considered infertility.
Yeah.
Once you're over 35, then it's at 6 months.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you started trying when you were 33?
Yeah. And so when the 6 month mark came, I was like, I want to get tested. And they're like, oh, you need to wait a year. And I'm like, no, I'm not. I'm going to TJ.
Yeah.
And then when I hit the year, then I did the testing here also.
So here, the insurance won't cover it until it's been a year.
Mm-hmm.
How do they document that? Because you could be like, I've been trying for a year.
Well, it's documented when you go to the doctor.
The first time.
Yeah. So like, let's say I go to the doctor and I'm like, hey, it's been a year, but it's like my only visit that they've ever had with me and I've never brought it up before. I mean, I'm sure you could say you have and maybe someone will let you, but I didn't know. I was assuming that they were going to like kind of see my appointments and when I brought it up.
Check your record.
Yeah. You never know. I don't know.
Yeah. And I think that, unfortunately as women, we have like a quote unquote limited time, right? So I remember personally, we tried for 4 months, right? And yo soy muy Yeah, like I need to get
too, girl.
Yeah, we have that in common. Like I'm like, no, something's happening, I need to know now, right? And I feel like you going to TJ at 6 months and be like, I'm getting tests done, like that sounds so normal to me. I'm like, yeah, why would you wait a year, especially if you want to be a mom as soon as possible, right?
Yeah.
Because I'm sure you can say to this, once you have that wish to become a mom, every month that you're not, it's excruciatingly painful.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, every period. And so every period that I get. And it the first 6 months were really hard because it was literally like, my boobs are sore. Am I pregnant? Oh, I got a cramp. Am I pregnant? Mm-hmm. Oh, I'm slightly nauseous. Am I pregnant? Mm-hmm. Like, so then it was like, no, it's PMS or it's, a period symptom. Like, so I really had to like let go of that, because it was messing with my head. It was literally, because it was almost like the excitement and then the disappointment.
Yeah.
Yo solita in mi mente.
Every 25 days.
Yeah.
Every 25 days.
So I really had to, one step back from the ovulating strips. And then also I became, and I had mentioned this to you, I became very cynical about it. I think after the year, I became a little cynical about it. Like, if my mom were to say, oh, pues tal vez estás embarazada, I'd be like, no, ¿para qué me dices eso? Like, no. Mm-hmm. And I was already telling myself, no, like it wasn't. And then I'd get my period and be like, ¿ves? So I wouldn't get my hopes up. So then it was like I was telling myself the bad already before the opportunity of the maybe,
Yeah.
I've also been working with that with my therapist, because also that negative energy doesn't help,
Yeah.
So now it's more of like, I'm focused on the weight loss to get to when we're going to start this process.
Yeah. And in the beginning, I know you mentioned that this has been very strenuous in your relationship. Mm-hmm. So in what ways do you think it's affected, like your marriage or, your relationship with your husband? What is that like?
Yeah. Well, the timing, right? Because you pretend, you're not in the headspace to have a baby. When you engage in that activity, it's like because you want to, because it's fun, because ooh, right? And here it's like it's a job. Like between this day and this day, you need to produce and go. And then that anxiety on him, we would not go. So then it was like a battle, right? So the stress of it for him.
Yeah. Because I feel like most people probably think, oh, we're just having unprotected sex and we're having so much fun, and because most people think of it that way, right? Like, ooh, we're being naughty and we're being unprotected. Whereas in an infertility couple, it's more like, are you ready? Okay, I need you to go, because
like, oh, today, tomorrow, this day, that day, like it's scheduled.
It becomes kind of like a chore.
Yeah, and then si no pasa, well, I'm gonna be upset. Like, I'm very upset about it.
So he's performing under pressure.
Yeah,
and
that's tough for him. And I've backed away. Like, there's certain trigger words I couldn't say to him because he would just like, well, like I can't, because now you put that pressure on me.
Yeah.
So
has he ever spoken about, and I mean, he's not here, so obviously if he ever wants to come on, he can. But because I never like to talk about people who are not present, right? But has he ever spoken or told you, like, I feel a lot of pressure, I feel guilt, I feel like it's my job,
Yeah.
How has that been?
No, he voiced that to me eventually, but in the beginning he wasn't voicing that, and so it was just like we would butt heads a lot because I'm like, just do it, and he wouldn't voice like, you're putting a lot of pressure on me.
Yeah, he's like, I actually love you.
Yeah.
It's like, you're using me.
Well, no, he actually did tell me that he felt like I was just using him for one thing, and I was like, wait, what?
Por buenón. He's like, me estás usando por mi cuerpo.
I know. No, he did. He felt like the excitement was being taken out of it by like demanding it needs to be done.
Maybe it will work if more days, more times. Not only those days. You know what I mean? Like,
but I also imagine that when you want to get pregnant, you're like, I don't want to have sex unless it's going to lead to a baby. Like,
yeah, well, that's the hard part. And that's something that I've been working through, where in my brain, like, that is what it's for.
Sex is to have a baby. It's not to have fun.
That's where my brain is at right now. And so I'm functioning off of that.
Yeah. So you're
my
like,
husband's kind of like, I'm a factory over here or what? Like,
yeah. Yeah.
But no, he also feels bad. He feels bad because because when you go and you get tested, it's like, is it me? Mm-hmm. For him, is it me? Is it my sperm count? And then for me, it's like, well, is it me? Is it my uterus? Mm-hmm. And here, it's a little bit of both of us. Right? And it really is a little bit of both of us.
Yeah.
And there's nothing that the doctors have told us where it's just like, it's not gonna happen. Mm-hmm. Right? Like, he hasn't been told like, it's not gonna happen for you. And I haven't been told that either. So that's why they're telling us IVF would be like the highest chance for us to attain a pregnancy. Yeah.
That's beautiful, because only takes one egg.
I know.
Yeah. Yeah. And I feel yeah, it might be better to not know, like, okay, it's you or it's him, because then I feel like there would be guilt.
Well, no, but that's like literally when you're going through testing, he was like a nervous wreck thinking he had like 0, right? And I was kind of like, well, I have a period every month. Like, so why would it be me? Mm-hmm. And then I find out I have low egg reserve. So I'm like, oh, well, I thought too soon.
But okay, so my question is, you have low egg reserve, but because as long as you're having your period, it means that there is an egg.
Yeah. Well, that's also kind of the thing. Like, I've never been on birth control.
Oh,
ever.
That's good.
Well, it's good, but it's not, because when you're on birth control, you're not releasing those eggs, right?
Oh, you're keeping
So
them.
I've never not had a period in every 20. Well, I used to have like a 30, 28 day cycle. Now it's about 25. Mm-hmm. So just think every 25 days I'm releasing an egg, versus someone who has a period the irregular period is a whole nother story, which I can't even touch on, because I don't know what that feels like. Mm-hmm. Right? Because there's infertility in like people that have PCOS, which is they don't have periods regularly. Mm-hmm. So that's not, I don't know too much about that. Mm-hmm. But for me, it's like, well, I was having a period, right? I always see like the 5 signs of high fertility. I always thought, I used to call myself fertile myrtle.
Yeah, I remember.
I'm like, I've never missed a period. I have the egg white cervical like all the symptoms like I have that I'm ovulating. And obviously with the test strips, it would always show that I would ovulate. It just hasn't happened for us, you know?
Yeah.
But sorry, you got an itch.
That's okay. Yeah. So, I mean, I imagine, is it hard for you to talk about it now, or is it kind of a little bit like, well, there's a plan in action, so I feel good about it?
Yeah, well, it's like I said, it's been over a year and a half now, so it's a little easier to talk about. And there's a plan in action. So it's kind of like, I know you were saying that, it's like the window, right? Basically, if we're 35, it's like, that's when they say that we're considered what is the term? Geriatric pregnancy, right? So for me, it's been like at 33, it was like, okay, well, if I'm going to have a kid, like I need to do it now. Mm-hmm. And then this whole thing happened where they're like, oh, actually, you don't have the ovaries of a 34-year-old. Mm-hmm. So then that window like shrunk significantly. Mm-hmm. And so last year when we were supposed to do it in the summer, I remember there was a lot of stress. We had just bought the house. We had moved in, like learning how to live with someone else. That's a whole nother can of worms. That's a video for another time, ladies. But learning how to live with someone, like it changes everything. It changes so many things. And once that's settled, that's where I kind of had like, once all that settled, I kind of had like this clear vision of like, okay, I'm going to be 35 in July. What are we in? It's February? Yeah, February. So in July, I turned 35. So now I feel like this window has just shrunk.
So once you turn 35 and well, then you stop trying, or what does 35 mean for you?
Well, 35 for me, because I had always said, if I don't have a kid by the time I'm 35, like, no, But this is before I even started trying, but I would always say, if I don't have a kid by 35, like, no. So to me, it's like 35 is coming. And
pressure.
It's the pressure. Like, what do I do? And of course, I'm not going to have a baby by 35. So now I would be like, hopefully getting pregnant during that time. Now, obviously, I'm going to be documenting this journey, whether it happens or it doesn't happen. But it not happening has its own, things. Are we going to try again? Are we open to adoption? Are we like, there's so many other possibilities now that are going to be at play.
Yeah.
Whereas right now we're kind of like one track mind, IVF journey, and let's see what happens.
Because when you do IVF, to my understanding, they release they pull your eggs, and depending on how many eggs you get, then they fertilize the eggs you get, and then it's depending on how many of those eggs become embryos, and then how many of those embryos don't have any
genetic defects,
and then how many are viable.
Yeah.
So do you think you'll be, and I don't know if you already thought about this, but let's say they have two, will you be like 2 for 1, or are you like one at a time?
That's the conversation that we've been having. It's like, if we get to that point, if God lets us even get to the point where we can say there's viable embryos, are we going to do 1, 2? And I'm okay with doing 2. I mean, I have nieces that are twins. I know that it's hard, but to me, it's like, we might as well.
Yeah.
Y porque no sabes, one might not stick. You just don't know. Someone was like, well, then just do 3 with that logic. And I'm like, cancel 3. I don't know.
Triplets?
That would be, well, actually, I was talking to someone who they did IVF, and then, maybe like 2 years after they had their baby, they naturally got pregnant with triplets. And I was like, girl.
Oh my God.
Por todo lo que lloraste.
Naturally pregnant with triplets sounds insane.
Yeah. After IVF too.
That's crazy.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
I know, but the logistics of 3 babies. I'm like, oh my God.
Well, and then it was 4 because she had already had one.
The big one.
But anyways, I'm open to doing 2. So is he. And then we'll see what happens. But maybe not 3. But 2, we would be open to doing that.
Oh, how sweet. Well, I cannot wait to go on this journey with you. Yeah.
To show the miracle baby.
Amen. Oh my gosh. How cute. I feel like obviously we're so blessed that you're in our close circle, because we get to see it firsthand, and we get to be and know when you're going through it. We get to be there for you when you're going through IVF, and when you are pregnant, and when you have your baby. Like, oh, I cannot wait. Like, that's gonna be amazing. And I pray as well that God blesses you both with however many babies he sees fit.
Amen.
Yes. Yeah. But thank you so much for sharing everything that you did with us, because obviously you never have to, but we're so grateful that you have decided to come here and tell us about it. And I know our subscribers are so grateful too, because you never know, like you said, who's going through what and who doesn't feel seen.
Yeah.
And so, if you guys want to share your words of encouragement down in the comments.
I'll be reading them.
Yes. Words of encouragement are always welcome.
Amen.
Yes. But yeah, Jen, is there anything you would like to tell us? Oh, we will share your TikTok down below.
Jen GC.
Yes, that's her TikTok. Yeah, so you guys can see her 75 soft journey, your weight loss journey, and your IVF journey coming in the summer.
Yeah.
Yes.
But no, I just want to tell you guys thank you. It was funny because when I got here, I was super nervous. And you're like, no, it's like, it's you coming over and us talking, which is what we normally do.
Yeah.
It's just like, I just have to be cognizant of the mic.
Yeah.
And whatnot. But thank you guys for giving me a space to be able to say this.
Always.
Yeah.
Yes.
It feels different to be in front of the camera like this.
Yeah.
I'm so used to being in your videos in the background.
Yeah.
Your taste tester.
Yeah.
You guys, she makes really good food, okay? Don't let the TikToks fool you. Si
That's
le sale
good.
bien. Si le sale bien.
It's a disaster when I'm making it, but it comes out good.
What was it? The tres leches? Oh my God.
Oh, that
I'm
was
still waiting. I
really
know she made
good.
another one, but I wasn't here for that one.
I'll
so.
make you guys tres leches cake. When you're pregnant and you have cravings, let me know. I will love to make any food for you, girl.
Pasta con pollo.
Pasta con pollo también te hago. El marry me chicken. But yeah, so I mean, we love having you, Jen. We love hanging out with you, and we hope and pray that it lasts a lifetime.
Yes.
That you're in our lives, and
Amen.
we're so blessed. We're so blessed to know you, and so blessed to know your mom, to know David, to know your future baby in el nombre de Jesús,
Amen.
or babies.
Amen.
Oh my God, that's crazy, girl. When you're saying twins, I'm like, yeah, we'll come over and help. Me traigo al Santiago. Yeah, I'll help, you know. It'll be beautiful. And I'm so, so, so excited. But, Mom, is there anything you'd like to share?
Well, I just wanted to say one more time that you're an awesome woman.
Yes.
That you're a beautiful friend. That you have a big heart.
Yeah.
I wish you the best. And right now, when we were talking, I can vision you with the baby right there. So I pray to God that all your dreams come true.
Yes.
And the desires of your heart it come true also.
Me too.
I thank you for being in our life and blessing us so many times. Every time we see you, it's a pleasure.
Yes.
So I thank you, Jennifer, for being with us and be part of our family.
Yes.
And we will see that miracle baby come true in the name of Jesus.
Amen.
Amen.
Yes.
Thank you, guys.
Yes.
They're beautiful.
Yes.
Our audience are really nice.
They're really nice.
They
I see them
always
in
say
the
good
comments.
things.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for listening.
Yes, our girls are amazing and they're always very, very kind, which we got so blessed with the best audience. Gracias a Dios.
Me soportan mi inglés y español. Thank you.
Yes, but that is going to be it from us because we have already taken an hour of your time, girl. Yes, but that's...
Wow.
It goes fast, huh?
That was fast. The first 10 minutes, I was like...
Now she's ready to talk.
Yeah. What's the next topic? No te creas.
She's like, we're talking about marriage in the next one. Ya nos dio el topic. She's like, living with someone, we need to talk about that.
Hey, that should be a good topic because that's tough.
We'll bring David on the other side.
The male
Que
perspective.
se defiende el David. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, Jen, we'll see you here hopefully soon. If you guys want us to have Jen back, please comment down below. As always, share, like, subscribe, comment, because that does help us out.
Please.
In the algorithm. And we'll see you guys next week for another episode.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.